Hey, good morning to everyone logging on. We are excited to chat with y'all today. First week of school, welcome back. As always, you all pop any questions you have right into the chat and we will be sure to answer them. We'll give everyone some time to enter the room before we get started. All right, y'all, we'll wait a few more minutes to let a few more folks log in and then we will get started. Again, if you have questions, feel free to drop those into the chat and we'll be sure to answer them or to share them with our panelists. All right, everyone, we will jump right in with today's webinar. So today we have some great folks joining us who are excited to talk to you. We have Dr. Roland Bullard, who is our Vice President for Student Success. We also have one of the newest members of our team, Chief Angela Honore, who is our new Chief of Police here on campus. And also joining us shortly will be Dr. Corey Hebert, who is our Chief Medical Officer. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. And without further ado, we'll start off today with Dr. Bullard. You're on mute, Doc.
Good morning, everybody, and I guess good afternoon it is now. I really appreciate everybody just taking the time to come and chat with us. We will continue, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we will continue to do these on Fridays, just so that you can have the latest and greatest as it relates to all things Dillard. Additionally, if you have questions, this is a good place to start, and we can sort of customize our speakers each week to the questions that folks have, and then we can follow up with you if we do not know the answer at the time when we have the Zoom call. But today, I had a couple of things that I wanted to mention, but I really plan to get out of the way and let our two main commenters, who will be Chief Honore and Dr. Hebert, who will have some comments for you as well. I'll let them talk more about sort of what we have going on campus and what expectations are. But I just want to start with some high-level comments. So first, I want to say thank you. I know that this is a heavy lift in terms of coming back to campus. I know you're excited to see each other and all of that kind of thing. And so I know that you are working hard to be as practice social distancing, keep your hands washed, do all of those kinds of things. I'm coming to you today to ask you to go a little further. And by that, when I say go a little further, I want you to take the opportunity to, as you're interacting with your colleagues on campus, to encourage people to practice all of these particular areas of social distancing, making sure masks are on, all of that kind of thing. We really do have to do that. For some reason, we still have folks who believe that, you know, just because we're with friends, we can pull our mask down and sort of operate in close quarters. If I'm being completely candid with you, we already are in a situation where we have students who have been affected by COVID on our campus, and they've actually had to quarantine. And so I want you to hear from me first that this is something that will affect us at a really significant rate if we do not get as aggressive as we can get about being sure that we're masked up and sort of practicing all of these guidelines. The other thing that I want to talk about is testing. So last week, you probably received an email from me. It came from the Student Success email. And essentially on that email, I asked that each student ensure that they are tested. On campus, the military is here and they've been helping us out with testing right here on our campus. So you don't have to go any place. You literally can walk across campus. There's a little tree that they have, a little tree and a little table set. You literally can go there, get tested, and you typically will have your results back within about, 2 to 3 days. This is so important as we try to create a baseline for the campus so we can understand what everyone's status is. At this point, we only have about 40% of the campus that's been tested, which means that there's 60% of the folks on campus who have not turned in tests or who have not been tested. Without being alarmist, that's dangerous. That's a dangerous state for us to be in, for us not to understand what the status is of each person on campus. If you have a suite mate, if you have a roommate, if you have somebody who you're close with, a partner, ask that person, have they been tested? And if they have not, encourage them to go and get tested, okay? So that they would know their status, all right? If you cannot and will not do this, we're gonna ask that you not participate in on-campus activities, eat in the residence hall, eat in the dining hall, and stay in the residence hall. We're gonna ask you to leave the residence hall. This is a condition of being a part of the sort of what we, like the NBA folks, the Bullard bubble, okay? So we really do need you to get tested and then talk to your colleagues about being tested, okay? If you are having issues or concerns, please send an email to the DU Student Success email and let us know, and we will respond with answers to try to help you get squared away as quickly as you possibly can get. Finally, this morning I read an article from a school, I think they are in Michigan, and they are, essentially what they're doing is they're having every person on campus to sign up for this app. And what they want to do with the app is they want to track everyone's movements around the city, okay? I thought this was, outrageous personally. This is not the kind of thing that Bullard University probably will ever do. What it did say to me though is that university is really trying to understand where students are, what kinds of activities they're involved in, so they can trace them in case folks are not tested, or if somebody becomes positive, then they can have a conversation with that student about where they are and what they're doing. My issue with our current state and with the low number of folks that have been tested at this point is that we don't know what your situation is. We don't know where you've been tested. And so as crazy as that article was that I read this morning, they are in a much better situation than we are in, because they actually have a sense of the campus population. I'm saying all that to say that I really do want to have a sense of what the population is, and we want you to have a sense of what's going on with our testing and the status of the folks on campus. Later today, if not today, first thing in the morning, we will have publicized for the campus what we'll call a dashboard. And essentially what this will tell us is what the number is of new cases, all of that kind of thing, and we'll provide that to you so that you'll have that weekly. You'll have a sense of what our situation is. If folks are not getting tested, then this dashboard is basically useless. And so I really do want to encourage people around the testing piece. And finally, as we move forward, we will be testing at random moving forward. We will want to understand what the cohorts of testing. So this week we may test athletes. This week we may test the folks in Williams Hall. This week we may test student leaders. We're going to do that. That's called surveillance testing. It's called a type of surveillance testing. And we will do some of that. And so don't be surprised if you're asked to be tested. So with that being said, I will check to see if anybody has questions for me specifically. And if not, then I will turn it over to probably Dr. Ishmael first, since we're talking testing right now. And then we will move to Chief Honorary to close this out. Okay. Any questions in the box, Courtney?
No, there's one question about community service, but we can get that at the end.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right. We'll go to Dr. Ishmael.
Okay. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. I'm glad that you have an interest in your well-being, on being on campus and being safe. I do want to give you a lot of congratulations, because when I walk around campus, I see people that are masked up, and I see people that are keeping their distance. If we have any types of issues and you've been wearing a mask and you've been 6 feet away from another person, then we won't have to, quarantine you and do all these types of things, okay? And that's why we want you to really keep your distance, because if you don't keep your distance and then you find out that a person that you were talking to and they were closer than 6 feet, if they're positive, then you're gonna have to be quarantined for 14 days. Okay, so this is how the quarantine is going to work, and we've had some guidance on this from the CDC, and we have incorporated all of that into our protocols. So if you test positive, okay, then you're going to have to be quarantined for 14 days. That means that you will have to be in your room. We will facilitate all of the things that you need to get done, meaning your eating and your classwork. We'll be able to do that. And that will be in your dorm room. And if you have a room where you're sharing the room with someone, then you will have to get another room. If you have a room that you're in a suite, then you will be able to stay in your room, but the person in that other suite will still be able to stay. Now, another suite room. Now, the other issue though is that, let's just say you've been exposed. Okay, if you've been exposed, then that means that you also are going to have to quarantine as well. And that means if you have been within 6 feet of someone who has a positive test, not someone who thinks they have a positive test, or someone's friend who has a positive test, if you have been exposed, then you will actually have to be quarantined as well. And that's why I'll say it again. We want you to stay away from folks within 6 feet. I do want to mention here that apparently there's a party that's going to be happening someplace at a skating rink this weekend. Okay. Now, it's not in your best interest to be going anywhere. Okay. It's just not. You've come to Dillard's campus and it's in a crazy time with COVID-19. So you really came so you can get your studies together and then get through this semester, get home, and then hopefully when we come back in the spring, things will be different. But it's really not worth you going to this party at the skating rink and then having an issue. So I'm going to back all the way up and I'm going to talk about exposures. Okay. Now, if you if you have to leave campus, okay? We cannot tell you you can't leave campus. But if you leave campus and go to one of the hotspot areas in the United States, now, when we say this, we're talking about travel, okay? So that means if you have to go to California, Texas, or Florida, okay, we fully expect you to report to Student Health Services so that you can get an evaluation, okay? So you can get evaluated to see how we can move forward with you going back on campus. Now, in your student handbook, there is a health and safety protocol and guidance. And so if you do anything that puts the health and safety of yourself or a campus at risk, then it is a violation, okay? Please don't make us have to do these types of things. You know, we're not trying to be punitive here because we love you. You're part of Dillard. You're our family. But we want you to be safe. So if you travel to one of these areas, you need to be evaluated because you have been to a hotspot where you could have possibly been infected, exposed. So we want to do an evaluation. So how can we do this? We would like it if you let us know that you're going at first. That would be even better. But if you don't, if we find out that you went and you didn't come to evaluate us, then we have to, you know, bring you in and we have to talk to you about what we're going to do about that. So I hope that's clear with everyone. All right, that's California, Texas, and Florida. We're going to be posting these updates on we're going to be sending out on social media, and we are going to put these updates as alerts on the website. So I want you to be continuously looking at these things because this is a minute-by-minute situation. As I said, we're not doing this in any way to be punitive. We're doing it to protect you, protect the campus, and protect your families, okay? Because if you get this, we keep talking about exposure, but if you get this, we know that most of the time, college-age students are okay, but we've had college-age students that died. Okay, and I'm just being honest, and it's not very common, but it could happen. And if it happens to you, it's 100%. Okay, so back to this party thing. All right, what you don't want to do is be in a situation where it's a party bar, loud type situation. There's a couple of reasons why. Because if you're close, especially if you start drinking, or if you are, you know, we're not supposed to be drinking, you're not supposed to be smoking weed, you're not supposed to be using drugs. But if you happen to do those things and try to get away with it, then the way that you talk to people, it's louder. Your barriers and boundaries get obscured because your judgment is obscured and affected. So you tend to speak louder, speak more, speak directly to people that are closer than 6 feet. So it's just really a disaster. And you know that you saw what happened at UNC Chapel Hill. You saw what happened. One party, after that, 150 people were infected, 300 in quarantine, 200 in isolation, and they had to shut the campus down. So if you go to this party, okay, which we are strongly discouraging you from doing, then basically what you're doing is setting it up for your other classmates to shut the whole campus down. It's as simple as that. Because if those numbers get like that, we will shut it down. And I don't want that to happen because that means you won't have a college experience, okay? So don't let this get out of control. Be responsible. You know, you are an adult now. Be responsible. And really, we're going to get through this. I promise you, we're going to get through this. You're going to be going on campus. Everything's going to be back to normal at some point. But let's go ahead and try to make this so that we don't have to, you know, go to any extreme measures of trying to track you down and all this other kind of stuff. So one more thing, contact tracing. If somebody gets infected, okay, not because of this party, but just in general, somebody will be calling you to see what your exposure was to that person, and then either we'll have to quarantine you, or you may not actually have to be quarantined based on the exposure. Okay, so just be open. Make sure we have all the information that we need on you, your phone number, all these types of things, so that we can get to you really quickly. Courtney, if you have anything to add, Dr. Bullard, if you have anything to add, please feel free. And if they have any questions, I'll answer them.
Thank you, Dr. Hebert. Doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat right now. If you all do have questions for Dr. Hebert, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll give you all a second to do that.
And we also, if you go email Student Health, you can do that if you want to do it later. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine too, y'all. You can send in anonymous questions, or you can always email studenthealth@dillard.edu or DU student success@dillard.edu, and you will get a prompt response from either of those if you send questions in. Looks like we do not have any questions for Dr. Hebert at the moment. Oh, okay, we do have one, Dr. Hebert. Are face masks recommended or required?
They are required, and that's a good question, okay? We want you, the Bullard face masks that we provide are cloth face masks, okay? And those are great, all right? They protect you. I mean, they protect others from you. They protect others from you. So just understand what this does. If it protects others from you, but doesn't protect you from others, that means everybody needs to wear a mask. Does that make sense? All right? Everybody needs to wear a mask so that they can be protected from you and you can be protected from them. Because if you're not wearing a mask, then you are not doing your due diligence to protect the other folks around campus. All right, so that's really important. So I see here that it said that they didn't mean masks, they meant face shields.
Face shields. Mm-hmm.
Okay, face shields are recommended for everyone, but not required. I'd love for you to have them because this thing possibly can get into your body through your eyes. Okay, but they're not required. I would like for us to have them, and I think I'm actually working on a deal where we'd be able to get a face mask for everybody on campus. I'm working on that right now. And so, yes, and also, if you have the ability to get what's called an N95 mask, that protects you from everybody and everybody from you. If you could get one of those, then that would be great too. But if everybody on Dillard's campus does what they're supposed to do, you don't need that because everybody is wearing a mask, protecting each other from each other.
Great, thank you, Dr. Hebert. We'll give it 1 second, Chief, to see if we get any more questions. Then if not, floor is yours. All right, well, it looks like we have no more health-related questions. So thank you, Dr. Hebert. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
If you have questions, again, studenthealth@dillard.edu, and we'll get a response back to you. Now we'd like to introduce everyone to the newest member of our community, our brand new first week Chief of Police, Ms. Angela Honore. So Chief, we'll let you introduce yourself to our campus community and provide any updates you'd like. I think you're on mute, Chief.
Yeah.
All right. A little bit of a technical difficulty. All right, Chief, try now. Let's see if we can hear you. No, still can't hear you. No. Hey, sorry, everyone. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties this morning. First it was video, now it's audio. Always something fun, right?
That's the age of COVID-19, bro. I mean, you know, it's just is what it is.
Yeah. Hey, while Chief Honore is working on her audio, I will answer the other question in the chat about community service. So how can community service hours be pursued during the pandemic? Well, I will echo what Dr. Hebert has said and kind of what we've said in emails. We actually are not encouraging you all to go off site and do community service. Reverend Brisbane and I have been working on a plan to introduce some virtual programming to the campus related to service. So we are reaching out to different agencies and things, and we will provide an update in the coming week about ways to engage the community in a virtual way. We are not encouraging you to go off campus and go to these different sites and things because we cannot ensure how well they are prepared for COVID-19. So we don't know what they're cleaning with or what they're doing. So we don't want to put you or the campus community at risk. So be on the lookout for more emails about that. Also, the number of hours that are required for graduation will be adjusted for students. So we're not going to expect you to do everything when you don't have the same opportunities. So be on the lookout for more information regarding that. If you do have any questions about that, you can email Reverend Brisbane, you can email me, or send a message to DU Community Service. We'll give Chief another minute to see if they can work out the audio. If you do have any other questions, this is a great time to drop them in the chat.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
How many people on this line are planning to go to that party? Isn't there a way to show of hands going on here?
Yeah, you can raise your hands if you're going to the party. I know quite a few of y'all have been talking about it because I've been seeing all the tweets about it. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. But I'm glad you asked that, Doc. So I do want to let y'all know that we are going to have an event on campus tonight for you all. We would rather that you stay safe. So we're going to go crazy tonight. So right after this call, we will send out a campus-wide email that'll let you know what we'll be doing.
That's good to know. And I will tell you, I think it's important too that people realize that other campuses, like I think it was Albion College, they have made it so that you can't leave campus at all. Right? I mean, that's like crazy. We don't want to have to do that. That's why I want y'all to really be able to just understand. Look, while out tonight with the people you know, because when you go out to the New Orleans community, it's gonna be a bunch of people you don't know. And I'm telling you, you love your grandmother. You do not want to get exposed and bring this to your grandmother or bring this to your friends. Trust me, it's a very bad disease. All right, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with you on that. So yeah, y'all, it's important to be safe. So we don't want you going out there and going to a skating rink full of people. Also, apparently there's a lot of people that are supposed to come. So just know that the skating rink actually has a capacity. So if you show up and they're full, they're full. They're not operating at full capacity. We're still on phase 2, so they are at 50%. So just kind of remember that as well when you are headed out to that. But hopefully you won't go anyway, so we're not going to worry too much about that. A few more questions in the chat. With only 40% of campus being tested, is there going to be more free testing this week? They're still testing. If you're on campus, you can go right now. They will be out there today until I believe 6 p.m. They will be here tomorrow, and they will likely be here next week. So if you have not been tested and you need to be tested, go ahead and go outside and do that free of charge. Takes maybe 5 minutes at the most. So please take advantage of that. Let's see, I got another question. As a senior, how will I complete our fieldwork experience and internship? That is a great question. It will depend on your major. So because that one isn't specifically about like community service and has to do with your major, I will say talk to your major advisor. Each program is doing something different. A lot of programs are offering things remotely or virtually. So that should be an option for you to take advantage of. So just check with your major advisor and they will be able to assist you with that. Oh, your major is criminal justice? All right. So talk to Dr. Ishmael about it. He'll be able to connect you with someone, or you may be able to do something that is on campus, perhaps with Chief Honore in her department. So that'll be an option for you. All right, y'all. And Chief is, I think, calling in right now. No, we can't hear you still. Let's see. She's still on mute. Let me try to unmute her. All right, Chief, say something. I can hear you now. All right, there we go. Good job. All right, y'all. Without further ado, Chief Angela Honore.
Okay, first I'm going to have to give my apology. We've had, we've connected several items. I was on a Zoom earlier and the volume worked fine. So I apologize for that, first of all. But first I would like to say welcome to the beginning of the semester. I look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to meeting and doing some greetings to see that we are accomplishing and also addressing any concerns you may have here on campus. And with that being said, you can email me and set up an appointment. Faculty, staff, students, whoever is interested in addressing anything that they have a concern about here on campus. I think the department staff should play a role, be role models, as a matter of fact, as to what is considered acceptable behavior here. So once we as faculty, as staff members show that, then I feel that the students will also follow that once they see that the respect is coming in both directions. And with that being said, Dr. Abear was talking about marijuana and things of that nature. You know, I would like to say don't do it, but we know that you're young. We know that sometimes you take a path that you want to test a little something, and I'm going to say it's not going to be good after that first test, and you won't try it anymore. But, you know, being on campus, I ask you to take all those necessary precautions because as a law enforcement officer, it has to be addressed. Now, with that being said, and I know none of you drink, so, you know, we probably don't have to address alcohol. And, you know, since Dr. Abear stated that, you don't even smoke marijuana, but you may smoke a cigarette or so. So we're going to take marijuana out of that. But when you have a concern or a question about something, I have been addressing the officers that if and only if that incident occurred with marijuana or something, that we're going to try to address it in the most appropriate and professional manner. Because you are in school, and with that being said, your parents look forward to coming to a graduation. And with that, I look forward to attending your graduation. So I ask that, you know, you use all of those precautions here on campus. Then I'm going to talk about the parking passes that several people have inquired about. Of course, I violated when I came. I backed my vehicle in because I'm so used to backing vehicles in. But I'm advised that you're pulling your vehicles forward so that the officers can read the parking decals from the rear of the car. And if they find your vehicle backed in, then you are subject to receiving a ticket. With that being said, I can tell you that the parking passes are not in yet, but once they're in, campus-wide email will be sent out so that you can purchase your parking passes. I ask that any reserved space or handicapped space that you are not assigned to, don't park in those spaces, but you're free to park on campus. This is well, I've been in law enforcement for over 25 years. I've been at several universities. I was at Loyola University for the longest, 25 and a half years. And so most people say, how is it you keep staying at the university with all those kids? I've always felt if I'm with them and it makes a difference and I get to see them walk across the stage, then that was my goal, that's my path, and I look forward to it here. And with that, I have one young lady now that's inquiring about doing a student worker program. So I'm going to see what are programs that we have so that we can get students involved and make sure that we're here to give them whatever guidelines, professional and respectfully, that will get them through these 4 years. I look forward, as stated, meeting and greeting everyone. I will be doing that. I have been going out. I have met some staff. I've met some students, and I've also made appointments with some students already because they wanted to talk about different things that they want to see, how they should go about it, and what approach or what they can, what concerns they have within the department that has been in the past that they may want to see change to. So I look forward to doing that, and I will keep everyone updated as to what it is that are concerns and what it is that has been addressed, and the change and the positive change that has come out of that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chief Honorary. We are so lucky to have you here and so happy to have you join our community. We'll give it a second to see if people have any final questions. So you all, if you have questions for Chief Honorary, any other questions about COVID-19, anything about campus life, we'll give you a second to post those and ask those. And if not, we will wrap up. Yeah, someone in the chat, Chief, that said welcome. They're excited to have you. Thank you so much for that. We don't have any further questions. So you all, if you do have questions between now and next week, feel free to send them to me at studentengagement@dillard.edu. And if you have ideas or thoughts for who you'd like featured on the panels for this, please feel free to shoot those ideas to me as well, and we will be happy to bring them on here to address the campus. Everyone, please stay safe. Make sure that you're making great decisions, and let us know if there's anything we can do for you. We're looking forward to talking to everyone next week, and you all have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.